Hello everybody, here we are at MaxsGarajMahal doing a little spring cleaning on the little Raptor SD60 made by Hustler, and removed the left fender here. It has a tendency every once in a while get a little loose, so as you can see the left side fender is sitting in the floor, and I've been considering for a while widening the rear fenders and bring them down a little closer to, get a finger down here, a little closer to the bottom of the deck, so that we can keep grass from being thrown up on the back of the deck, and do basically the same thing in the rear over here. And of course, when I got the fender off doing a little spring cleaning, what do I find here? I got dirt that I didn't get off in my normal everyday cleaning when I use the mower, so it basically doesn't appear to be as clean as I thought it was. And I don't know about the light down there, but you can see a little dirt right down there. Anyway, something else we're trying to do here is and I'll show you the other fender. See, it likes quite a bit. The right hand fender, it covers the tire about like the left does, of course. And that throws a lot of debris, clippings debris up on the deck. And I'd like to get this stick out of the way. I'd like to cover that tire and bring it down to in the front to the bottom of the deck when it's in the transport position. And then in the rear, bring it up just to leave it about 6 inches above the floor, so that it's not throwing things up in the back of the motor and the rear fender. So let's see, what have we got done so far? Some of the modifications we have so far is, well, addition of a seat belt. Hustler Raptors don't come with seat belts, or they don't at this time. This is February 10th 2018, and let's see, we've added a seat suspension kit to it, which the Hustler Raptors don't come with. As you can see, it's there between the seat and the mounting deck. And another addition that I'm going to do, haven't done yet, but I've got the fender off over there on this side over here, on the left side, so that I can plan the piece of metal extension that'll go between the stick mounting location and the rear fender mounting location to mount a hydraulic lift gate shock, so that it allows the seat to move forward, but not to the extent that this bungee cord is doing right now. It's a little too close for my liking to the more lift pedal, and I don't want to take a chance of the mower pedal knocking a hole in the naugahyde. By doing the seat lift kit, or not lift kit, but suspension kit, as you can see, you have to extend the seat safety switch wire up to the seat. In order to protect that, I put a piece of fuel hose here as a gasket in the opening to allow this to not fray on the sharp edge of the seat mounting deck. Something else we're adding here is a fuel shutoff. I was going to put it right here, but the seat could possibly, the seat mounting deck could possibly come down too close to this in its furthest down travel and possibly strike this. So we're going to move it over to, let me back up and see if we can get a better. There is a place here in the fuel tank that drops down on the fuel tank retainer, and I believe I'll put this right here so that you have to lift the seat in order to turn the fuel shut off and on. And that should protect that. Another fuel modification that we'll be doing is where you have this four-way right here. You have a four-way cross ventilation thing. This vents this high portion of the fuel tank to another one on that side below the gauges and the throttle choke, PTO switch, on-off switch, hour gauge, and as you see, we added a volt amp meter there that also has, let me get over here so that you can see it, it also has 2 USB charging ports. So we added that yesterday. This fuel, what I was getting at on this fuel thing here is we're going to bring this fuel discharge line or overflow line up inside here and bring it up where the fuel filter is actually located right here inside the fender. And that'll allow you to put on both sides, there is an additional probably gallon of gasoline that you can add to the fuel tank if you make sure you have a downspout. So this fuel line will come up and then come right back down and go down inside the frame so that it still can ventilate, still be filtered, and still drain down below the rider in case of spillage, or you turn the mower up too sharp of incline one side or the other on its side, and that should save you from having gasoline all over the rider. As you can see, to get rid of some of the noise here, we put furniture moving pads, and we affixed those to the springs, and as you can see, within a couple of hours those springs had started wearing the paint through on the seat mounting deck. So we wanted to both stop the squeaking and the rattling as well as maybe keep the deck from having the paint worn off. That's something that probably should have been put on by the factory, some sort of rubber caps, but they're not, and those things are cheap. Those furniture moving pads are cheap. Let's see, what else have we done so far? Oh yes, the old MaxsGarajMahal belt drilled so that it no longer captures clippings like it used to, and it would get so packed in there. Even, and I never cut in wet grass. Cut wet grass one time just to show people that this mower could get dirty, but it normally isn't. So at that time the grass wasn't very tall when I cut it, so we didn't pack the chute that much. But these belt covers, which I think looks pretty good on the mower like that. Since I've done that over about a year ago, I haven't done anything other than just take a little 18-volt leaf blower and just blow that thing out. And I never find anything in there, so it's working excellent. Done it, you know, didn't take very long to do it. Like I said, done it about a year ago, and the thing just works great. So I recommend that you do that. This keeps little kids' feet, hands from getting in there and getting into the pulley and belt, which at that location the belt is so tight in the pulley they're not likely to get their finger between the belt and pulley. But it might burn them pretty good. You never know. Accidents are always looking for a way to happen. So just beware that if you do this, to make sure that you keep some sort of web in there to keep them from getting their fingers and toes in there. And that includes the operator, because you shouldn't have that operating when you're off the machine, the blades. But one never knows what's going to happen around a piece of machinery, and things can happen that you don't always plan on. There basically wasn't a scratch on the machine. Certainly wasn't any kind of rust. But it got scratches on the rear and sides, front. They worked on a gravel drive, and this mower is always blown off and kept very, very clean. As you can see, they scuffed up the, I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not, but I guess they had rocks in their shoes, and it just did all kinds of damage. This thing did some damage here. I know that doesn't look like a lot of damage to you, but it is a lot of damage to me. They knocked a hole in the seat. She kept getting off the mower, and I noticed when I watched her, she'd take this seat deck and just throw it as hard as she could forward. And they had some sort of bunch of tools laying actually on the deck, because they were using this sort of as a work table with a couple other mowers around it. And they had some tools laying down there on the deck right about in here, and stabbed my seat. So if it sounds like I'm a chronic complainer, I really don't mean to be, and don't really mean to sound like it. Just trying to warn you, you want to make sure, if you take care of your mower and take really good care of it, you want to make sure that other people that's servicing it takes as good a care of your mower as you. Reason why the ohmmeter is sitting here is, as I showed you earlier in a video, I just got through installing this, and I want to make sure we had very good connections that weren't going to be a problem down the road. I'll show you what the mower has on it now. It's only mowed one time since it's been home. So here you go. Hours are 34.8. So that's not a lot, considering the mower was purchased 4 years ago, 2014 in February. I think the last 1 or 2 days of February. It sat till August before it was ever started and operated in 2014. Mowed the yard, I think, 4 times then. Was gone pretty much the rest of that year, or most of the 2015, and 16, 17. So it hadn't got a lot of use. So if I'm saying how great it is, and it makes you think, well, he didn't spend a lot of time on it, well, that may be true, but up to this point in time, it's doing great. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be bringing you more modifications as they come along, like the LED front lights. And thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.